Okay, so the first problem is that, as you can see, these bars are 3 pixels wide. The problem is that the first column of pixels, so from the left, doesn't seem to respond to mouse clicks. So if I position my mouse there, now we are exactly over the first column of pixels, and then if I click and drag down or up, that doesn't do anything to this bar, it doesn't resize it, which means that click wasn't registered. If I move over to the second column of pixels, like there, and then I click and drag, that works. And then the third column of pixels works as well. So it's only the first one there that doesn't work. Because these bars are already exceedingly thin, that means they're inherently difficult to aim for with the mouse. Because we're talking about just 2 pixels, and it can be quite tricky to get the mouse exactly on top of the bar. Therefore, every pixel counts here, and we can't really afford having one column of pixels that's there just for show and that doesn't do anything. Uh, Furthermore, 1 out of 3 times that I try to aim for one of these bars, I will end up with the mouse over the leftmost column of pixels, which means that 1 out of 3 times that I try to resize a bar, it won't work. And that sort of breaks the user experience because it creates astonishment. There's this thing called the polar principle of least astonishment, which is a UX design thing that shouldn't be challenged, and the UX is challenged here. Next, well, when moving and resizing bars, it seems that the bar moves faster than the mouse. So for example, if I grab this bar and then I try to move it left, right now the mouse and the bar are aligned vertically. If I move left, you can see that the bar leads the mouse, and if I go right, now they're aligned, but then eventually the bar leads. Likewise, when I resize a bar, so if I grab this bar by the top, you can see that now the bar is slightly above the mouse, and now it's slightly below the mouse. So obviously the extent to which it happens when resizing a bar is less than the extent to which it happens when moving the bar, where it leads by quite a long way. I can't show you this now because I'm holding the phone with one hand, but if I hold the control key for making fine adjustments, then moving bars left and right doesn't seem to have this problem. It's only if I am not holding the control key. I think that probably is a bug, because ideally the mouse and the bar should move, should be synchronized, so one-to-one motion. Third, right, so right at the top here, actually, we just saw another bug now, and I wanted to show you. So when I move, let's resize this one a little bit, let's make this one taller. When I move a bar past another bar that's a different height, the bar that's been moved changes in size. Like now, you see now it became shorter, and now it stays short. I think that's not right. I think it should keep its original size as long as I don't move the mouse up or down. Likewise, if I take a short one and move it past a long one, it grows, and then it goes down to its original size. If I make this one very short, okay, there seem to be several there. Okay, that'll do. Yeah. So not sure if that's a feature. I mean, it's consistent, but I I would have thought that if I want a bar to be a certain size, I can do it myself. I don't need the software to do it for me. Right, so fourth point. Right, there is a 5 pixel wasted band here at the top. Like these bars can't go any further than basically here. So basically between the top of the bar and the top of the graph area, there's this sort of dead space that doesn't do anything. And considering how small this graph is, I mean, look at the knobs, they're huge, and then this is tiny, and yet there's so much going on here. Like using this graph is basically like threading a needle. It's really, really fiddly, right? So it really makes sense to fully utilize the available space on this graph to its full extent, basically. So I don't think it's a good thing that we have some wasted space here. I would like to see these bars be able to go all the way to the top. And I don't think it wouldn't look bad at all. Everything would look just fine, because I mean, if you look at the bottom, the bars get all the way to the bottom, and I doubt anyone ever complained about that. But having that little bit extra range gives us a little bit more control. It's a bit like mixer faders. If you've got long throw faders, you have more control, whereas short throw faders make adjusting a mix precisely and accurately more difficult. So obviously, I think it's best to have these bars be as long, as tall as possible. Yeah. Besides, I mean, if you guys decide that to leave it the way it is, I'll give you one more reason why it probably should be like that, or at least the following should be improved. If I have a short bar like this one, and then I click above it and then drag up and down, that will adjust the bar, right? However, if I click up here, nothing happens. And yet there is no indication that that's going to be the case. So again, that challenges the UX, because like if here I can click off the bar to resize it, why, like looking at this for the first time, I think it's a reasonable assumption to make that these bars are not as tall as they could be. Like there's still a bit of range left in there, because, well, I think that's a fair, reasonable assumption to make. Therefore, it's also a reasonable assumption to make that if I click up here and drag, considering that if I click up here above the bar and drag, it works, that if I do it here, it will work too. But that is not the case. So I think that's a good reason to have the bars go all the way up and to have the full vertical range of the bar be a grabbable spot, as it were. I don't know if that makes sense. Last but not least, knobs respond to mouse wheel, and it would be nice to be able to adjust bar height by using the mouse wheel. So just put the mouse over the bar and then scroll away to adjust its size. That would be useful because right now, when I move the mouse up and down, I might accidentally also move it left or right, and then that also moves the bar, which could be an intentional thing. So by using the mouse wheel, I'm constraining my movements to the vertical axis. Perhaps, I don't know if this would be possible, but using a modifier key to lock, like to constrain movement to one axis, so whichever one starts first. So if initially I move vertically more than I move sideways, then holding down a certain modifier key, say shift perhaps, would constrain my motion to the vertical axis. And if I move sideways more than I move vertically, then it would constrain it to the horizontal axis. So that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. Hopefully it makes sense. If it doesn't, drop me an email and I'll clarify. Bye.